Hey Jiffy, a new Dosman game just dropped.
What we do here is go back.
That's right, boys and girls, you heard right. The king of Dosman game reviews is back. That's right, your boy King Jiffy Codes is here.
More like the king of being an absolute degenerate.
Donna, every time you speak, you make me want to send feminism back a few thousand years.
Please take me back to ancient Egypt, Daddy.
Now that that's taken care of, I can finally give this game some big ups for its intro cutscenes. This thing is actually really good. I mean, just look at that princess I gotta save. I bet I could find a great use for that little space right between her massive boobies. And if you're new to the channel and you find that a little sexist or just kind of cringeworthy, I don't care. You saddle up, boys. It's gonna get a lot worse. And if you are new to the channel, well, like and subscribe, you goddamn idiots. I want to get to like a gajillion million followers by the time the year's done, so I can just like bathe in dirty cocaine covered money. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to talk about how impressive this game is. Just right out of the gate, I want people to know that this game is a complete and true evolution of everything that Dosman and his team has learned thus far. And in fact, this game actually lives and breathes as an example of them taking one of their games which they thought was the worst in their collection and saying, yeah, we could do that better, and absolutely taking it, setting it on the ground, telling it it's to open its stupid little mouth, and then shitting right down its throat. Now, I have to say the game that they're doing that to, I don't think is that bad. I think that it actually has a lot of quality to it, and eventually I will have a review for the game Reaper, but they internally wanted this to be the Reaper killer. They wanted this game to sit there and stick its little mushroom tip right on its forehead and say, yeah guys, this game is fucking better. And I have to say, dude, everything about this feels like every Dosman game evolved to the very next level. But before I get too deep into my morning shit, I do want to get the things out that I think Dosman does better or just as good as a lot of people in the industry, and that's art design. The art design in this game is fucking incredible, just like every single Dosman game. Their fucking artist knows just how to make me come enough to where it actually sends me on a weight loss journey in one sitting. I will sit down, I will grab my dick, and I'll just start spewing like I'm profusely bleeding out of my nose, like an anime or some shit. I don't know, but when I get into these games, all I do is look at the enemies, look at the art design, and I say, Jesus fucking Christ, we made it, boys. This is exactly what we need. Every character, every enemy, every little side design, the fucking walls, the ground, it's glorious. The fucking pots are beautiful. How the fuck do you make me want to fuck a pot? I don't know, but I want to get my dick stuck in one of these things, but only the really small ones, because as you know, I have a high intellect, which means I have an incredibly small penis. Micro, some say. Also, the sound design in all of these Dosman games is just top tier. Now, the music I'm actually using for this video isn't from the Dosman game, because every time I utilize it, it seems like it's not old YouTube copyright friendly type music. Every single time I stream their games, I get a little notice from YouTube that I'm being a bad boy and they want to bend me over, spank me, and insert a finger right in my rectum. That being said, I do think that the music and the weapon and sound design in this entire game do slap all sorts of fucking clit. I mean, the amount of clit that's being slapped is making that girl scream in octaves that thought were inhumanly possible before this moment. But getting off of sound design, I want to talk about one feature that is very iconic to this game alone, and that's this little like fucking swingy rock machine. I think the technical name for this shit is a sling, but all I know is it's the thing that made Goliath look like David's little bitch boy. Uh-oh, somebody go get Rev Plays Games. King Jiffy made a Bible reference. Anyway, the thing that makes this weapon so weird and also interesting is its wind-up. So you load a little rock in, you swing it, and then you throw it. So you have to time every attack really down, and I think it's actually really impressive and really fun to use. It's something that I constantly kept defaulting to because it's so much fucking fun to just levy rocks at people's fucking noggins. Another thing that I want to give this game a ton of credit for is the starting sword knife thing. God damn, is it sexy. The Dosman Games needs to add this to their merch store, but just as a dildo. They need to add it as a dildo because I'm sure women would line up around the block just to really get into those fucking ridges. Also, I want to highlight how great Dosman's fucking melee design is in every single one of their games. Yeah, it's a little bit overpowered overpowered, but I feel like it's also incredibly balanced for the experience they're trying to provide, because it's something over there at the Dosman Game Studio where they'll just sit down and say, how can we make this motherfucker as fun as possible every step of the way? And they're like, should we add more hits on the fucking knife? No, we shouldn't. We should make this bitch just have the perfect amount of fucking flow where you're never stop moving, you don't ever feel like you're grinding, it's just non-stop, balls to the walls action. We're slapping thighs with our fucking scrotum like a man should be, baby. This flow is definitely something that I've gotten accustomed to through playing all of their different games, but I just think that it keeps getting a little bit better every time without losing its fucking iconicness. It's kind of like when I played Doom 2016 for the first time. Yeah, it's a lot different than Doom 3 or Doom 1 and 2, but it still holds the essence of all those games because it's a true fucking evolution of what those games are. And I feel like that's what every one of these little Dosman journeys are, is a perfect fucking evolution of what we got beforehand. When other studios out there are sitting there just filling bowls of shit from their own ass and then re-eating it and just living on their legacy, Dosman's out here trying to evolve in every fucking sense of the term. I mean, even the little secrets just keep getting better. I found this one room that was like shooting spiked balls at me, and I just thought it was so cool. It was my first fucking bonusi that I found, and bonusi, for those that don't understand, are some bones skeleton people that I want to fuck in the ass. Anyway, this led me to what my favorite melee weapon in the game is. It's this little fucking spear thing. I have to say, I love this room where you find it. I love the fact that the secrets that lead you to early weapons don't just feel like an empty room that has a weapon. It's actually something cool that feels different, feels very authentic to this game, with the fact that you're going through pyramids, finding secret rooms. I mean, come on, who the fuck doesn't think about how cool the pyramids are and all their secrets? That's what we live for, baby. And I like that sometimes you'll break open a pot and snakes will pop out just to try to kill you. Oh, did I not mention the boss fights? There are so many boss fights in this game. The perfect amount of boss fights. It feels like this game really knows how to like break up the normal combat with the new boss fights, something that they did back in their Flash of the Blade X game, which was have tons of boss fights that break up the areas between each section. You're like, oh, okay, we got a really cool boss fight. And this game even does this thing where every once in a while you'll attack a treasure chest and it'll turn into this fucking gold cum goblin motherfucker looking like he's straight out of Conker's Bad Fur Day. Actually, that's a good example for what you can compare the Dosman style art design to. Is very Nintendo 64-ish meets 90s boomer shooter. It's a perfect example, and if they decided to make a game where you run around killing fucking collage of things that a furry would jerk off to when nobody was looking, I'm not gonna lie, that shit would be mad fire, and I would definitely be there day one to play the shit out of that. Conker's Furry Goon Session, they could call it. Okay, maybe not that, because you could run into some licensing issues, but how about Goofy Gopher goes on a furry genocide? God damn, that's got some potential. I'm a fucking genius. One thing I want to say is I really like how they utilize some of the greatest level design that they've had in the past. One thing that always comes to mind when I'm running through these hallways and stuff is how they really amplified the fun zone in Flash of the Blade X and Dosman Alien Suck and Fuck, or whatever that other game was called. They really like to put the enemies above you to where you're constantly looking up and really paying attention to the verticality and where you need to be throwing your next stone into another person's ass. I like the fact that you're constantly on your toes, and this is like the perfect evolution of that design in their past games, which I think really sets them apart from almost anything else in the easy FPS community. And while I'm on the subject of kind of the easy FPS games, I think that this is just the perfect example of what every easy FPS game should look to the future, because this game has it all. I mean, I've played some of the other easy FPS games that had the things like cutscenes and stuff, but I don't feel like they were put in as seamless as this game has them. And on top of that, I feel like they're always trying to push the envelope. There's a quick save system in this game, which I never thought would be a thing in the easy FPS games. I thought they would always be just save when you can, or use beginning level saves. Not this motherfucker. You can quick save to your heart's content, and it worked for me every time I used it. Now, I don't know if everybody's gonna be that way, but I know for me, it fucking rocked. Not to mention, do you see this fucking anal lollipop weapon? It'll make bosses from earlier sections look like your fucking bitch. I loved that thing. Not to mention, another great weapon in this game is the bow and arrow. It is the perfect evolution of what you had with the sling rock throwing piece of shit. You have now a bow and arrow that just kicks ass. It's not too overpowered. It's perfectly well balanced, just like every weapon in this game. I don't feel like anything I played has this perfect of a balance, except for the fucking locust. Let's be honest, the locust just fucking go harder than your aunt while she's getting drunk and fingering herself to the view. And I know they're not bees, but come on, when will I get a better time to utilize this clip?
Hey, what is it? Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
I mean, just the fact that these things fire out of your hands like a Taco Bell shit shoots out of your ass makes this weapon feel so much more iconically different than any iteration we've had similar to this before. Even when you look at games kind of like Dishonored, I think Dishonored had a bug mechanic, or Bioshock, it always feels like it's just something to slow down your enemy. Not in this game. It's supposed to fucking plow right through them, like people used to plow through your grandma's asshole back in the 50s. Oh, don't pretend like your grandma was all innocent. We know she was getting ass blasted back in the 50s with Elvis, and the way he was moving his hips and the way that all the women screamed at him. Even though the locusts are incredibly overpowered, it still makes you utilize all your other weapons, because the fact that they don't put locust ammo around every single corner, it wants you to keep relying on some of your old beautiful weapons. Otherwise you're going to run out of ammo and run into an enemy where you'll definitely need the locust. Some of these guys that used to be bosses will show up and try to prolapse your anus. I also like the fact that this game does a really healthy mixture of very interesting styled, very gothic, mummy inspired fucking horror movie aesthetic too, where it looks like just people that were chilling around in the fucking BC time period. I like the mix of that, so you're kind of getting a little bit of the fantastic mixed with some realism, and it doesn't really just like say, oh well, now we're into the dark part, so you're only gonna see skeletons and weird fucking rock pharaohs. No, you're gonna get a mixture of all of it, and that's what I love so much about this, because a lot of games' big mistake is they kind of forego the earlier enemy type because they're saying, oh well, look, we're here now. Oh, you don't need to see the original enemies anymore because we decided to go to here. Look, oh, isn't it so wacky and goofy and different now? Yeah, go fuck yourself. This game likes to put a nice mixture of it, because the further along you go, the more you're kind of like diving into the heart of Satan's asshole and how they all work kind of incongruent to each other. There is one boss fight I want to highlight out of all of them. I think this is really cool how they designed this one dude. So as I'm peppering him with my fucking Nicolas Cage weapon, you will notice that his head pops off, but that doesn't mean that he's dead. No. That is just his first phase. And I like the fact that we're starting to get to this little evolution of him. And yes, I mean him, because Dosman is fucking Himothy, because he is the one that knows more than all else when it comes to these fucking easy FPS games, more than anybody else. He understands how to keep this evolution moving forward, because the way you have to design this is you have to actually build two different enemy types that spawn in on top of each other, which I don't understand how that works. He tried to explain it to me one time, but I think Dosman forgets that I'm just the retard who makes jokes on the internet while he reviews games in probably the most uncritical way possible, or I guess in the traditional sense of what a critic would say. I'm not over here like, oh well, the technical features that are put in this game are so incredible, and that's why I here at IGN will give it a 5 out of 10, because this game doesn't feel like it was written by privileged millennials who like to suck each other off while writing shitty scripts for modern AAA games. I guess if I had to categorize myself in the critical sphere as I'm just the guy that puts in way too many cum-and-ass jokes while also being a nitpicky douchebag the entire time. By the way, getting back to the game, which I know you're just waiting for me to actually talk about the game for once, I have to say this boss fight that I'm currently engaged in, I'm not going to tell you where it's at, I'm not going to tell you how to get there, I'm just going to tell you that this guy's a little fucking prick and he's harder than hell, but it doesn't feel unfairly hard. It feels like a pretty well-based challenge. It is a little tedious and a little spongy, but when I actually got done with the boss fight, it all made sense in how the level was laid out and where all the ammunition was. So if you played this game and you're like, oh, it's too spongy, you just didn't fucking play it right. So you need to go back to school, you need to call your parents, apologize for wasting all their money on your worthless fucking degree in fucking underwater jizz tickling, pull up your bootstraps and stop being a little bitch about everything, because I honestly really enjoyed that boss fight, and I just feel like there's going to be some people in the circles of FPS games that are going to complain about it being spongy, when I feel like it actually adds to the experience rather than taking away from it, because I've played a lot of games where it feels like everything is a bit spongy and there's really nothing interesting being thrown at you. When that boss fight really kept me on my toes and kept me moving, and it made me kind of understand that even though a boss fight can feel a bit spongy, you can still have something that's really dynamic and really fun at the end of the day, which I honestly didn't think was possible. So you guys over at Dosman deserve at least one good penis lick for that. Another thing that I think is incredibly important to kind of highlight in this gaming experience that I think a lot of developers need to sit down, take notes, and stop being douchebags is the fact that they were able to make a fucking Idubbbz game that didn't feel like an endless fucking maze of garbage and AIDS getting shoved on toast, shoved in your ass, thrown up, and then fed back to you. Because that is what every single time a game sends me to Idubbbz randomly, it always ends up being the worst level, the worst designed area, the most maze-like, the worst enemies, and this game sat down and said, we want to make a fucking Egypt game, and they made a fucking Egypt game where everything felt dynamic, everything felt cool, each level felt kind of different while still being incredibly iconically Egypt, which is so hard to do. And I know it's hard to do because I played fucking 8,000 games that send me to Egypt, and it always feels like generic slop. The fact that I went into this game and it ended up being, in my opinion, the best Dosman game thus far is so incredible when I've been so crucial of Egypt levels in the past. The fact that I want to go back and replay this game again when I don't really love the Egypt aesthetic is just a massive, colossal, fucking huge win on the Dosman team's part. But to wrap it all up here, I do think that this is probably the perfect evolution of everything that Dosman has done up to date, and I think that as I keep watching the studio grow and as I keep playing their games on my channel, I'm just more impressed each day with what they're able to do, and the partnerships they're able to make with these other studios and really push them out, and able to just kind of grow their little platform. I'm thinking that these guys are going to be the next New Blood in the next 10 years. I'm not even fucking kidding. I just see these guys continually growing. I love every time I get that email saying, hey, we got a new Dosman joint for you to play. I know I didn't mention it early on, but Dosman did provide me with a copy of this, and to be honest, I would have bought the game anyways. I love their games that much. At this point, they're only like $3 ever, so they're just a really, really nice kind of cozy, budget-friendly experience that, even though it's a cozy, budget-friendly experience, it's not sacrificing on the fun to be had in the gameplay, which I see so many games that are inexpensive and short that I feel like just aren't a full experience. I feel like I'm getting a bite of something that could be good and then missing out on the better, more higher-end experience, when that is never how I feel into the Dosman game. I feel like I'm getting a fucking peak experience from beginning to fucking end with every single opportunity that I'm presented with this studio and with their games, and even with the games that they just publish. It seems like they understand the best of what's going out into the industry in their little niche of the FPS community, and they find fucking bangers every single time. I love these guys. I want you to go support them. Go buy their fucking game. Look in your wallet, slide away the old used condoms with the little holes poked in them because you want to spread your seed across the entire globe. Move those out of the way, pull $3 fucking out, and go to Steam and buy this fucking game. The link will be in the description down below. Releases in a couple days on the 24th, so just make sure that $3 is ready. Y'all better wishlist this bastard and then not buy a butt plug and buy this instead. So one last important thing, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be bringing more and more bangers just like this every single time. But that's all I got for you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.